Hello everyone. Hopefully everyone is having a great day on today. And where are my fellow advancing yourself people? You all know how we do this thing. And we do take it from level to level to level to level. I'm Priscilla with Priscilla's Greenhouse coming at you again on today. I just like to always throw this out. My growth zone is 7B in Arkansas, and my last frost date for my area is April the 3rd. So, to get an early jump on some of my seedlings, and of course, I've been talking about my setup back here. Everything is just looking really good. The cucumber, the okra, the peas, the collards, broccoli. I have some of the peppers coming up, the big Jim chili, medium hot. They're coming up. They take so long to germinate though. Well, there's a heat mat in there also, and it's feeling nice and warm. And I have the Ruckers tomatoes coming up. All right, what else? Cucumbers. And the other day I transplanted some cucumber plants, straight neck squash plants, and as you can see, I have some over here with a light on it. I installed another light yesterday, and here it is, and it throws light out. I'm telling you, it lights this whole corner up. And I think the experiment that I'm doing is going to prove something to me. Is what I'm trying to prove to myself is that the light that's being generated from these bulbs, I believe the kelvins and the lumens are going to be just fine to grow these vegetables because they're looking marvelous. They're looking really good. I'm just going to let you look at some of my garden beans here. And the garden beans that I transplanted on yesterday, this is what they're looking like. And they're looking really nice. The cucumber plants that I put inside of water bottles, made me some containers from water bottles. They're looking good. And let me see about the straight neck here in the windowsill here. It's nice and sunny. It's going to be almost 70, close to 70 degrees today. So the straight neck squash is looking really beautiful. I believe so anyway. Really beautiful. And also the cucumber, and I'm just using the water bottle as a container. All right, people. It's good to see you all today. It's good to see you all today. And I hear a cat. It must be my cat. He must be outside that door, but I'm busy today. I can't let him in right now. So the plants are doing really good. And what I believe my problem is going to be, everybody, what I think what problem I'm going to run into is that my last frost date for Arkansas, my area, is April the 3rd, okay? April the 3rd. Okay, the day is February the 15th. Okay, February, March, April. That's 8 weeks right there. And I need every day of that 8-week period to start seeds and to harden seeds off, because the last frost date of April the 3rd, okay, today is February the 15th. February the 15th, March the 15th, April the 15th. So, I'm looking at what? 12 days. 12 days from April the 3rd to the 15th to really harden my plants off. And what I mean about hardening off, for people that are not aware or not familiar with the term of hardening off, say for instance this corn that I have growing here in the house. This corn has to be put out into the regular temperature for a couple hours one day, maybe 30 minutes the first day when the weather is warm enough. And have to bring them back inside and put it back on the shelf. The next day, maybe I can put it out for a couple hours to let it get used to the wind blowing or what have you that's outside. I have to bring it back inside the house. And eventually, after about 2 weeks, these plants will be ready. The corn plants, sweet corn, will be ready to plant in the ground. Same thing for the straight neck squash. Same thing for the beans. The same exact thing for the cucumbers, okay? And I have, these cucumbers are looking really beautiful. Excuse me. How you all doing today? It's good to see you all today. And what I'm going to share with you all on today, and I'm going to take you along with me. I'm going to take you all along with me. I'm going to be planting several different vegetable seeds today because I have to get them started. My thing is, if I'm going to get them started, or if you're going to get some seeds started now, you need to get them started right now. You have to start now. If you're trying to get at least a 6 weeks jump, a month and a half, would be fantastic if you got started now. And then you can harden your plants off for 2 weeks. That's what I'm looking at for my last frost date, and give or take a few days afterwards, that would be just perfect. So we're going to get right into it, people. I just have a container right here of a pot and soil mix of peat moss, which I'm going to add more peat moss to this mixture because I'm getting ready to put some seeds in to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I can grow 40 plants in this here tray. I can grow 40 vegetable plants, seedlings, whatever you want to call them, in this tray. And I ordered these trays, I think it's 5 to a set. And it comes with a little dome that can fit over the seed tray. But this is the important part, that the reason why I really ordered it. I ordered these because of this tray right here. It does not have any holes in it. And I use these bottom trays to water my seedlings, okay? This is going to be down in here just like this. There's an opening on the side, or either you can just lift one edge up like this and pour water in. And what's going to happen, the water is going to be pulled up. The plants that's going to be planted in here will pull the water up from the bottom tray. And I love it. And then to keep some humidity or whatever, some warmth inside of this here setup, there's the dome. And that's why I like it. Because I really need the domes to be over these trays now, because what I'm getting ready to do is like trial and error. It's going to have to be like an experiment. I need to know if I can just put this dome over here, and you probably can't even see it, but I have another setup here where I can set this dome on an area where all this light from these two lights here, from this light, okay, and from this light right here, is going to be reflecting and being transmitted all over this area here. I'm going to cut this off because I do believe there's enough sunlight coming in to the south facing window to take care of all of this. So, to make sure the plants do not become leggy, and I was thinking my zinnia plants were leggy. I was really like, wow, they're leggy, but they are actually stopped at this height right here. And I haven't had them on any grow lights or anything. I've just had them out in the opening, and they're producing their true leaves now, and they're just inside of a meat tray, a matter of fact. And I have holes in this meat tray, which means I can set it down in something when I get ready to water it, and it'll be just fine. For right now, they can stay just like that. I'm not in a hurry. And some of the zinnia plants, what I've actually done, as you can see, and you know what? They have really stretched out even better than the ones that's in here. If you would look at the leaves on these three plants, one of them is kind of broken, but it's still trying to survive. If you look at the leaves, you see the true leaves already done popped in the middle. And they're way bigger. I'm talking about way bigger than the ones right here. Now, they have been exposed to light and sunlight very often, more so than the ones right here, so you can see the difference. But some of these plants right here have started to produce their true leaves, but they look nothing like the ones right here that I keep in the window, and I keep them watered really good. So, matter of fact, this plant can stand a little water right now, because I don't have it sitting in that tray that it was in. I had it in a tray where it actually self-waters itself, but I'm going to give it a good dose, because all these here, right here, is water in this tray. These plants can just suck water up, and they'll be fine. But I don't want this to dry out. The same thing with the corn plant. And the ones in the window here, they're just fine. They have water in it, so they're doing really good. All right, today, I'm going to be planting some seeds, and I'm going to be labeling as I go. This is the dome. I'll set it out the way. This is the other part that's going to hold water. I'll put it out the way. Right now, I'm going to concentrate on this right here. And I'm going to concentrate on it because what I need to do now, first things first, I need to get my label to start labeling. This is going to be 5. I'm really going to do 10 onion plants, okay? I'm going to be planting onion seeds. I'm going to plant some onion seeds. And other plants also, but mainly in the evergreen bunching. I'm going to plant these also. And I want about, really and truly, I want 10 of the Cibola Texas Grano, Sweet Spanish, Utah strain. It's 2 different variety of onions, okay? Really, it's 3. All right, this is the evergreen bunching onion right here. So, to start out with, people, I'm going to make a label. And what I'm going to put on this label is Texas Grano onion. This is the acrylic marker I was telling you all about. Maybe it's out of ink, but I do have some more. The way you get it started, you just have to press the tip in and out. Press, 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 and then see will it write. For some reason, it's not, so. Let me take out another marker. And I do believe this is white. I had white. I could use, let me try white. Let me try the white marker. Long as it's going to do what I want it to do. So. Let's test this one out. You have to press the tips down to get these things to start writing. But it's not white. You know what? Once the ink gets in there, it's black. So Texas Grano. Okay, that's one marker. I'm just going to put it right here. And the next one is going to be, I'll get another marker. This is my plant markers right here. And I'm just going to put evergreen bunching onion. I'm going to put today's date on there, on here. And I don't want to smear it. It's something that's it's easy to smear. And I'm just putting the labels on top of the seed packet, all right? So I can know. I have lettuce over here. I have zucchini, black beauty. And I will be planting some zucchini, black beauty, squash. Let me make the label. Some people put shortcuts on there, but I just like to write mine out. I like to write it all the way out so I can know exactly what I'm looking at when I plant these things. Because here's some rosemary. I'm going to try some rosemary also. Herbs. So let me start with these right now. All right, and see how far I'm going to get by doing it. All right. How you all doing today? Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. And I am Priscilla with Priscilla's Greenhouse. First of all, I want to put some more peat moss in here. I need some additional peat moss in this container. I'm just going to get my gloves and get my gloves on. And I was working all yesterday with these gloves, so they're good and dirty. All right. Here is some perlite that I ordered online, and I think it was either from eBay or Amazon. I'm going to put some perlite in there. It gets kind of dusty, but I'm just going to kind of fan it out the way this time. I mean, it's really dusty. I think my idea of the plastic bag would be just fine. I usually have plastic. I'll leave the plastic over it. Perlite. And I have some peat moss in a garbage bag. So I'm going to stick it under here. And I'm going to add this peat moss. And I think I'm going to add all of it. Hold down on the dust. That's what I'm doing. Keep the dust in. Because I forgot my mask. I usually put my mask on when I'm messing around with dusty soils and products. Alright, got that out the way. Okay, that's a mixture of perlite is in here. And I put peat moss in here. And just a little bit, which is already enough in here, I believe. I'm just going to put a little bit of my compost that I make here at the house. Just add just a little compost in there because I know my compost. But, excuse me. But with the planting of nice baby seedlings, like what I'm getting ready to do, I think that's enough. I got to be very careful to mix this solution really thoroughly. Have to mix it really thoroughly because a lot of times when I'm researching, what a lot of the people are saying is that only use plain seedling mix or potting mix to start your seeds. But what I found out, but you have to know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, you probably end up killing the seed. Because this one lady, well, there's several people I listen to. But she's been doing it for years and years and years. And I believe that's the way I like to start out, because I feel that the plant wants to start growing. I feel that right from the very beginning, it needs some type of nourishment, regardless of how small the nourishment is. A little bit of compost in there, it's not going to kill that plant. And then, once it starts growing, and I start transplanting it out into larger containers, that's when I add some more of my compost in a larger quantity then, a larger amount. So right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix this peat moss, perlite, and a mixture of my compost together, okay? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some water in here. And I have some potting soil. But this is the peat moss, perlite, and a mixture of my compost in here. But I still like to put some potting soil in here, which I do have. And the Dollar Tree had a lot of potting soil for $1.25 a bag. So let me do that. And any twigs, little tree, pieces of wood. Hello, hello. How y'all doing? Hello. Twigs, pieces of wood, anything that you feel you need to remove out of your potting soil mix that you're making for your seedlings to grow in, you remove that stuff. There's little pieces of twigs and barks and wood that I find all the time. So what I want to do is this. And I'm not going to be putting in a whole lot of fertilizer or anything to begin with. Potting soil. Nothing heavy duty. Because I always have to keep in mind that I'm getting ready to plant seeds. I'm getting ready to plant seeds, okay? And this is potting soil. I'm going to put potting soil in here. It's going to be mixed all up. A potting soil is pretty much made out of some type of peat moss. And probably broken down, I mean, vegetables and everything else may be in here. You know, I don't know. The only thing I know is that it's going to be used to germinate and help my seeds germinate and start to grow. What I want to do right now is add some water here to this mix. What I found out, what I noticed, that if you have got to be really looking at your potting mix. Of course, they can't get every piece of bark out. It's going to be in there. So it's going to be your job to look and remove the little sticks and twigs out of the potting mix. So this is just plain water. And I'm going to add some to this potting mix, okay? There's a lot of potting mix in here, so I don't want it to be sloppy wet, though. I have an idea of how much water to put in. And I'm just going to be working really on trying to get it all mixed in. I'll be using my hand in a minute. But right now, to start with, I'm just going to use this shovel. I want it to be really, really wet. You don't want the potting mix to be all dry either. You need enough water in it to be able to make sure that it's nice and damp when you put the seed in there. Because I'm going to be putting this soil in these trays right here. Get all the way down to the bottom, because on the bottom I have some of my compost at the bottom of this here container. And I want everything to get mixed up nice and well. Nice thoroughly. Mix it up thoroughly. And as you're mixing, guess what? You're going to run up on sticks again. Running up on the sticks that's in this potting mix. That's what I'm doing. Running up on sticks. Tell you what I have in this mixture one more time. Well, I probably end up telling you again too as we go. It's a mixture of perlite. I have peat moss in here. I have some potting mix from the Dollar Tree mixed in along with some of my compost. But I have just a little of my compost, so there can be a little nourishment in there for the seed once it starts breaking through the soil and starting to grow. I believe that is important to jumpstart that seed. All right. Oh yes, it's nice. I just want to use my gloves to kind of rake through this and mix it so I get a feel of what it's really feeling like, and it's feeling good. So that's the way I want it. Get some of the dryness out over here and mix in with this. This is what I want. Now, it's nice, it's mixed up really good. And what I want to do, I want to slide this here as close as I can to this tray. And this is how I'm going to do it. Just going to take some of this here potting soil and smooth it across. And as you smooth it, always keep a lookout for twigs and pieces of wood. And this is what I'm doing. Put it all in the tray. You can use the back of your shovel. You can do whatever it is that you need to do to get it into the excuse me, to get it into the cells. Smooth it down. Smooth it, smooth it, smooth it. Press it into the cells. When I say cell, I'm just talking about press it into the holes, okay? Press, press, press. You want any air pockets in there. And as you press it, you're looking for little pieces of sticks. And I'm finding plenty of sticks in here today. A lot of them. So, it all depends on how this potting soil is going to grow the seed, okay? I don't give up on the potting soil too quickly. The twigs, I don't like too many twigs to be in here, but my thing is it going to grow the seed real good? So let's finish filling this up. Take your time. I don't want to make a mess because I have to clean up afterwards. And I'm taking my time with this soil. I don't want it to be all over, even though I got a liner here and I have paper underneath it that I can just probably ball up and throw away. I still don't like to have a bunch of junk just laying around that I have to clean up and dirt laying everywhere. Because I am inside of the house, so. All right. Just about got all these cells together the way I want them. Make it nice and flat. The pieces of tree bark, I see that. And I'm going through each one of these cells now, just tap, 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 okay? Let me just this is the first time I've started to purchase this potting soil at the Dollar Tree. It's just shredded up tree bark, if you ask me. You know, most of the potting soils that I purchased, they're mainly made up of peat moss, to be honest with you. All right. Let's just see how this potting soil is going to work from the Dollar Tree. All right. I just want the potting soil to do what it was just made to do. Okay, if it's going to grow these seeds, there may be some wood in it. It may be some little twigs in it here and there. But my mixture, I had a lot of peat moss in my mixture, okay? And I put perlite in there. Okay. Here we go. Great. Now, I got my tray all set up and ready to go. Get these scissors out the way. Got the tray all filled up, and there's 40 places to put its seeds, okay? There's 40 openings here. 40. Not 10, not 5. We're talking about a lot of vegetable seeds can be grown in here. A lot of seedlings can be put in here and taken out. Okay, let me just kind of clean this up a little bit. All right. I'm just cleaning up the edges because that's just something I do. Everybody has his or her way of doing things, and this is my way. All right. I have my marker here for my Texas grano onions, okay? And I put the date on it right here. And I have a certain way where when I put, say for instance, I want to use 2 of these cells, which is going to be like 10 plants, but I'm going to put more than 1 seed in there. So I'm going to stick my label right here, but I know from this label back, going to be my onions. And I'll do the same thing on this end. If I want 2 rows of these green onions here, all right, I would put my label right here. And I'm going to know that on this side, 2 rows of green onions. That's just something I have up here. And if every last one of these other rows just going to be single rows, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of different vegetable seeds. And there's 5 places to plant, and I can put 2 seeds in each area. So really, you're looking at about 10 plants if all the seeds come up. But if some of the seeds refuse to germinate, what can you do? Let's get started. And you can use anything to make your opening. Some people stick their finger down in there. I don't want to do that because, like I said, last year I got an infection in my finger. And I believe it has something to do with me playing around in a lot of water, working in water and in soil. So, a Sharpie is perfect because it's rounded off. I'm going to use the back of this Sharpie. And I'm just going to start putting shallow holes, not all the way down, just enough to put my little seeds in here. Just enough. And if you're trying to stick it in there and you run into some wood or something, or you feel something that's kind of blocking it, try to find out what that is and remove it. Okay, but so far everything is fine. I'm just going to take the onion pack. I like to just tap it, tap, tap, tap. I want my seeds to make sure there's no seeds stuck in the top. That's why I do this. And I'm going to get the scissors. I'm going to barely cut the edge off. Just like that. All right, now, tiny, tiny onion seed. What I'm going to do, one moment, it's hot in here. Just a minute. It got kind of warm up in here, people. I don't want to be doing too much reaching for that thing. You know, it's way over there. Just a minute. Okay. It got warm up in here because it's south facing windowsill. All these lights on in here. I mean, it'll turn into an oven real fast. Let's put some seeds in, all right? Let's plant some onion seeds. And I'm going to put a couple seeds in each hole. They're tiny. 2, maybe 3 may fall off in there, but I try to grab 2 at a time. That's what I'm doing. Really try to get 2 at a time and just put it in there like that so it can be a done deal. With onion seeds, you know, I just, maybe 3, it doesn't matter. I'll thin them out later. All right. I already have the onion seeds planted, all right? So once I finish, I just like to fold it down. Fold my pack down, get me some Scotch tape. Get a small piece of Scotch tape. And tape it. And that's just to keep the seeds from turning over and falling out. Just set them off to the side. Now, let's cover the seeds up. You know, I'm always reminded of something. And I'm going to see, tell me what your take is on this. I know a lot of times people tell us, okay, this is how you need to plant the seed. This is how you do this. This is what they need. This is how you do it. All right. Okay, now this is planted. All these seeds, the onion seeds are planted. I'm just tapping it down. But this is what I think about a lot of times when I'm planting seeds. And they tell you to get this type of pot and seed mix. Get this type. This is what you need to do. This is what you add. This is what you don't add. Okay, anyway, all of that is fine and dandy. But do you ever think about this? Excuse me. I think some of that dust got up in my nose. Do you ever think about, and keep in mind how we've been taught to plant seeds. How do let's say, a tomato seed, okra seeds, when they fall down from the dried out okra pod in the wintertime or whenever, when they dry and you can hear them shaking around, how do these seeds grow when we're not anywhere around to make them grow when they fall on the ground? Okay? When they just fall down and all kind of stuff blowing on top of them or people walking on top of them, and depending on what type of soil, they may be out up under an apple tree. And it may just fall right down on nothing but gumbo mud. But my point is this. Excuse me. These seeds eventually find a way to root up and they start growing, right? With no help from man or woman. And I'm just saying, we can waste a lot of time on trying to make a certain type of mix. Not saying that you don't need to know what you're doing, because you do need to know what you're doing. You need to know. But my thing is, I don't put so much worry into it. Long as the soil is viable and it's not all caked up and matted up like gumbo mud, that seed is going to grow. Even if there's some small pieces of twigs and wood maybe in there, that seed is going to grow because that's what it was created to do, if you ask me. I'm amazed at how sweet potatoes start growing underground. Last year, I planted some sweet potatoes, just the plants. I purchased some plants from a nursery. That was my first time planting sweet potatoes. And with Arkansas, my area, this is nothing but old clay gumbo mud in the ground. And I just had created a garden over in a greenhouse area, not a separate area from where I live here. And it was nothing but trees out there. And I had most of the trees cut down and uprooted. And I started growing vegetables over there last year. And what I'm saying, I remember digging in that gumbo last year, and what I did, I mixed it up with some of my compost, the hole that I was going to put my sweet potatoes in, that plant in. But not a lot of compost. I just want to give it an opportunity for the roots to go through some soil that was pliable and movable or loose or what have you. But what I found out about that sweet potato plant, baby, holla if you hear me. These plants was created to grow. And they are made hard like that to grow in some of the most harshest conditions, in my opinion, from what I've seen and what I've researched. Because when it came time for me to harvest these sweet potatoes, I was walking around in that area one evening after I pretty much had forgotten about those sweet potatoes, because those vines had grew up in sweet potato vines. They were everywhere and they was real pretty, and I couldn't even see underneath there to see what was going on at the base of that vine. But one day I was down low and I was looking, and sweet potatoes had to start pushing up through the soil. I could see them with my naked eye. I could see the sweet potatoes. And I was like, wow. And by that time, it was harvest time. And people, what I saw, I know that plants are very tough. Those sweet potato, what you call them, runnivores or whatever, they're tubers or runners or whatever that's underground, produce sweet potatoes like this in gumbo mud now. Sweet potatoes like this and about that long. Ask me, did I have potting soil all down in there nice and loose for those sweet potatoes to grow? Ask me, did I add any more compost in there to make sure the soil was so loose? They need that loose soil. I understand. Plants do need loose soil. I believe that. But the sweet potatoes pushed that. I don't know how the sweet potatoes grew like that. I don't know how the sweet potatoes grew like that. When I was digging, and I stayed on top, and then I went down deeper. Sweet potatoes down deeper than the potting soil or the compost. They just, I don't know how they did it. But the root system started developing, and sweet potatoes started growing, and they just pushed that gumbo mud out the way, is what I'm saying. And I was digging up sweet potatoes out of gumbo, out of something that was like concrete around those sweet potatoes. But when I was getting ready to get the sweet potatoes, I was like, my goodness. And I had to get a shovel, and I had to hit that dirt to break it loose. But there's the sweet potatoes all under the ground. So my point is this. That root system is something about a plant that we may not ever know, because we didn't create that plant. But that plant is going to find a way to grow, whether it's a drought outside, and it's probably going to need some water, but that root system is going to go deep down in that ground to find some water somewhere. It may be 3 feet under the ground, but I believe that's the way plants are created. To dig down deep, 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 as deep as they have to go to hit water. Even in gumbo soil. I hope you all understand what I'm talking about, but let's move right along, Priscilla. Okay, I'm going to get ready to plant some evergreen bunching onions now, which is right here. Evergreen bunching onions. And I have my label ready. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the Texas grano. I'm going to use 2 rows. So I want these 2 rows right here. So I'm going to stick this right here. So that's going to tell me 2 rows. Nothing but onion. I could always stick another tag down in here, but I know there's going to be 2 rows of onions coming up. So I'm going to use a Sharpie. I'm going to do the same thing. Not deep. Don't have to be deep because it's a seed. See, that's the thing about it. That's why I believe the instructions say don't put them too deep under the soil, because they're going to have to push their way through that soil then from the beginning. All right? The root system going to have to go down in there. So, and they can just go and push themselves up, and then the root system start digging down. But you have to think like I think to understand where I'm coming from. But anyway. Let's see here. These onions, to germinate 10 to 12 days. It takes about 10 to 12 days to start popping through the soil. 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch. I just take the top part of my index finger sometime, and I'll say, about that deep, halfway of that, that's good enough. They're going to be inside. And it takes 60 days to harvest. You're looking at 2 months to harvest. And you plant the spacing is about 12 inches apart. Don't you know some people don't have 12 inches, a whole foot apart for these onions? It all depends on the space that you're using. But anyway, you be the judge of that. If they'll grow and they'll do what they should do, I always believe you can put them a little closer and they'll still be fine. But go by the instructions, everybody. All right. I'm going to put 2 seeds per hole. They're small, just like the other onions with dark black seeds. Try to put 2 seeds at a time in there so I don't have to keep going back. That's 2. Spread them out in your hand, and you can kind of tell how many you're picking up. Kind of like playing jacks. Who used to play jacks with that little ball in your... I was so good at that. But anyway, that reminded me of playing jacks, to be honest with you. Haven't played jacks in a long time. Maybe I'll go online and find me a jack set. 2 seeds. And if you get 3 or 4, or something gets stuck on your fingernail, oh well. It's not a big deal, people. Sometimes I'll throw an extra one in there. Because once I cover these seeds up, it's over with, pretty much. It's over with. That didn't take long. Now I've planted some green onions. Fold it down a couple times. Either one time, it doesn't matter. I get my Scotch tape. And I put it right across the bottom, right here. To keep my seeds from falling out if it turns upside down. Okay, now put them over here out my way. Time to cover the seed. This is an experiment, I'm telling you, all together for me. I'm looking at a different type of soil that I never used a day in my life from the Dollar Tree. And some people say, well, why would you just take a gamble like that and buy soil that you never used? When you plant your seeds, you're taking a gamble anyway. We're taking gambles anyway when we plant seeds, because a lot of times, you know what? I've ran into situations where I really believe the seeds were outdated in a store. And I was trying to read the dates on the seed packet. Now, I don't know. And what I run into, see, I can't see it on that pack either. Sale by December of 2022. All right? 2022. And I just purchased these seeds, though. But there was a bundle of seeds one year, and I think it was last year. And I could not read the year of the seed expiration. And I just started looking at all of those seed packs, and the year of expiration was kind of blurred out. And it made me start wondering about something. What is the lifespan of seeds once we even purchase them? We're taking a gamble, right? And hoping that we got good seeds, is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Let me keep moving. So, that's why I may throw 3 seeds in a hole and see what's going to happen. Sometimes one seed will come up. Sometimes all 3 of them will come up. You all know what I'm talking about. It happened to you too before, right? So, it's like a trial and error type of thing, but it's okay. My thing is, it's okay that it happens like that. It's all right. What I'm going to do now, I have some zucchini black beauty squash. I have covered up the green onions, and I put the pack to the side and put some tape over it so I won't lose my seeds. But right now, I'm going to plant some squash seeds. Zucchini black beauty. Squash. And I'm going to do the same thing. No, I'm not. I think that's going to be too many plants. So, I'm going to do 1 row of zucchini seeds with putting like 2 seeds in each hole. Okay, let's do it. All right. How you all doing today? Glad you all could join me. All this is new to me. I'm not, I haven't been in this here a long time at all. I'm talking about doing videos. I'm new at it. But woo! Squash. You know something? There's some really big seeds. I'm just opening up the hole just a little bit bigger, baby. That's all, because it's a big seed, of course. And a lot of times with zucchini and squash, I really and truly, I like to start them off in containers this size right here. I just like to start them off in containers this size, all right? I may do it. But then I got to go outside to get the containers. Okay. Because what's going to happen, I'll start them in here. But I'm only going to put 1 seed to a hole. Only 1. That's the gamble I'm going to take, because with me putting only 1 seed to a hole, that's going to be a lot of zucchini plants. Then that's going to be 10 plants. Do I have enough room over there in the greenhouse area for all this stuff that I'm planting? Number 1. And the beans, Cucumbers, I do have enough space. I know I do. Corn, straight neck squash. There's squash right there. My goodness. There's plenty of squash. Then I have this zucchini squash. I'm going to make, I don't know what I'm going to get myself into, but I'm going to put 1 seed per hole because just how small the cell, it needs some room to stretch, man, once it starts growing. And I have to push this thing down a little deeper if you ask me, because it's a big seed. I'm not burying it under the bottom, but let's do it like this. I'm going to put 1 seed per hole, and I'm most likely going to have about 10 plants, all right? If every last one of these seeds come up, it'll be 10 plants coming up. And that's plenty. And then I have straight neck squash behind me. It's okay. Let's just see what's going to happen. I just hope and pray the seeds are good. Just hope I got some good seeds. All right, good. So only 3 more seeds left in the pack, so I don't want to keep no 3 seeds. What I'll do is this. I get the scissors and I'm going to make another little hole right over here and drop that one next to that one. And I'm going to pour some soil toward this seed here. Drop that one in there. This potting soil from the Dollar Tree is real woody. I'm giving it a try though, because it may surprise me. But it is woody. And what I'm going to learn, if anything, from this here potting soil is whether or not the seed's going to be able to push up through little pieces of tree bark. And you know what? I believe they will. Because it's just an environment that a seed has to grow in if no one was around to take care of it. Now, that amazes me all by itself, okay? If no one was around to take care of the seeds and that plant, out in the jungle, out in the woods, or whatever, wherever, seed managed to start growing all on its own, and it does well. Think about pecan trees, pear trees. When a pear rots, okay, on a tree, or apple, no one's around. Let's say no one's around to do anything. The rotten apple falls to the ground. The rotten pear falls to the ground. And that's where that rotten fruit lies, right? On the ground. So, what happens to those seeds, and how in the world did that particular plant start growing another tree? No one planted the seed. I wasn't there, you weren't there. But some way, somehow, that pecan tree started growing, didn't it? That pear tree started growing on its own. And that apple tree rooted up some kind of way and started producing little apple trees all over the ground, all around that big tree. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So what's the fuss about all the time when you're trying to, I'm trying to put an error on here because I want to give myself something to go by. And this error is only telling me that row over from my first row where I have this thing stuck at, that next row over is the same vegetable growing. Just the same me a name tag. I don't have time to keep making another label. I'll just put an error here and I'll know that I got 2 rows of onions, 2 rows of green onions, and 2 rows of zucchini black beauty squash. That's the only thing I'm doing. I put a little error on it so I can know that that row over there that does not have a label on it is the same thing that's growing here. Just to save myself some labels. Okay, so listen. you have to know whether or not you have enough area and space for the vegetables that you are planting. Some people don't even think about that. And then when it comes time to harden these plants off, you're hardening your plants off and you're looking, and now these plants standing about 6-7 inches tall and the leaves are all spreading out. And you got to find space to put them in the ground. But that's why I believe sometimes I like what I see a lot of times on YouTube, because I think that's exactly what done happened to somebody. They overplanted, and the area that they're growing their vegetables in, to me, it may be crowded, but guess what? They have so many vegetables in there, and they got it shaped up nice and neat. And it's not 12 inches apart. It may be 4 inches apart. But they got the leaves all shaped up, especially with tomato plants. They got the bottoms of them nice and cut up off the ground. And they kept them from going wild. And they got tomatoes hanging all over the place, is what I'm talking about. So it's something to think about. And some people won't even grow. Some people won't even attempt to grow any seeds or plant any seeds because, guess what? They're afraid of everything. They're afraid of not having enough room. They're afraid of what they're going to do and how they're going to do this. But my thing is to jump right on in with both feet, people. Get busy doing it. Just get busy doing it. Okay, my last row, I want onions. I love onions, so this is going to be the Sweet Spanish Utah strain. It's a different type of onion. So these last two rows here, let me make a label for these onions, because I made a label for the rosemary. And I just need to make a label now for the Utah. Sweet Spanish. So that's a sweet onion. See, I like to use sweet onions when I'm eating fish. I love fishing. And I catch bass, crappie, brim, sunfish, catfish, bass. I catch everything. I catch whatever I can catch. And I'll clean and I'll cook fish. But I don't like that real strong onion when I eat fish. I like sweet onion. I like sweet onion with tomato sliced up. Somebody trying to get in contact with me. Sweet onions, or I'm going to grow some. Tomatoes, I'm growing some tomatoes. And little lettuce and things like that. And it's so good and delicious. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all today. I'm Priscilla with Priscilla's Greenhouse. Please subscribe to my channel so you can know when I'm going live, and click on like. I'm new here. I'm the new girl on the block. And I'm out here in the jungle of nothing but a bunch of people making videos, and they're experts at what they're doing, and that's all good. But I'm here trying to do what I do. And I'm glad you all could join me. I'm glad you all could come and show up and support me a little bit. And what was I saying? About sweet onions and fish. And that's what I like. So I would say, what do you like? And you're new in gardening and you're just getting started. What type of vegetables and fruits do you like? My thing is, plant those things. I like sweet onions. I like green onions. I like lettuce. I love beets. And so I'm going to plant these types of vegetables for sure, because I know what I like to eat. All right. I need to make another label. This is just a container with my plant labels in it, a bag with plant labels in it. And this is my acrylic. It's an acrylic painter's marker. And they say that they're better than the Sharpies. But they say Sharpies fade, and these acrylic black markers are permanent, and they won't fade after you have something sitting out in the ice and snow in a container garden for the winter sowing. And in the summertime when the heat is out, it's 103 index outside. I'll find out this year. You better believe I'm going to say something about it too. If they're no good, and I test them out and they're no good, I'm going to let you all know they're no good. That's what I'm going to do. All right. So I'm going to plant Sweet Spanish Utah strain. Onions. So I'm going to flip it over and put the date because I ran out of room. Woo. All right. And I'm just using the back of the Sharpie to put the hole through the soil so I can put my Sweet Spanish Utah strain onions in here. Alright. I'm going to use these two last rows. Wow. Alright. What I'm planting today. And I have to edit my title too. And I usually, once I pull it up, it pulls the same title up from yesterday. But I'm planting seeds today. I'm not transplanting. But it's just something I got to be aware of. And I'm going to spread these seeds out on my hand. And I'm going to put 2 seeds per hole. If you grab 3 or 4, oh well. It's all right, people. It's all right. To have a good time, baby, it's all right. Oh, but it's all right. It's all right. Have a good time, baby, it's all right. Oh, but it's all right. All right, fold it over. Put your piece of Scotch tape on it or whatever type of duct tape, any kind of tape you can find to keep them seeds from falling out all over the place. I cannot stand that. So if it fall over like this upside down, you're not going to lose any seeds. So that's what I do. I keep some Scotch tape around. Now, let's cover the seeds up. I don't know why I pick my scissors up to do it, people, you know. That's what I get. Everything covered up nice and neat. I don't know how neat it is. Tap it down so you don't have any air pockets. I go back, I just tap it down like this here. Tap, tap, tap. I just got a mixing spoon because the tip fits right down in there the way I want it, and I just tap it. I go all the way over and I just tap, tap, tap. Either you can turn it over and do it like this here. I don't care how you do it, as long as you get your air pockets out, but I like to do it like this. And if I had a piece of wood that was squared off and it was about this long and it was square just like this here, I'll just go pow, 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 pow. I'll stamp them just like that. And it'll fit right in the hole. Maybe a little smaller than the hole, I'll just go boom, 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 boom. Maybe I'll invent that. All right. That's it. Now, put my label there so I can know. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to mix it up real good. That's all I'm going to do. All right. Here we go. That's good there. Good enough. I'm just going to dry the edge off. I don't want it dripping all over the place before I put it where I need to put it, which is going to be right here. There's no holes in this here container, all right? I want y'all to know that. No holes. Because this is going to be a self-watering setup with these seeds. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this right here. You may not be able to see it. But I'm going to pick this whole setup up of the seeds that I planted. I'm going to set it right in there. All right? Put this out the way. That out the way. Hold up. That's why you got to have plastic and everything laid down, because what happened, I forgot, and I should have had it sitting in that container when I was planting the seeds, but I have plastic down because you don't know what's going to happen. And this is exactly what happened. Then I have paper laid down, so it's all good. That's why I say you don't want to really make a big mess, because you don't know what's going to happen. You're going to have to clean it up as you go. That's what I believe in. All right, here we go. I have an old shower curtain that I use in case of an accident just like this, and that way it won't get on the area that I'm working on. Okay, now this is the setup. The seed tray is sitting inside of the tray that's going to have water in it when it's time for me to water. When I get ready to water these seedlings, once I see the top surface drying out and it's looking really light, and I'm going to know then that it's time to water, and the only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to hold this edge up. You don't have to hold it up far. I'm going to hold it up high enough so I can put my water off in there. I don't care if you use a cup, whatever you want to use to pour the water in, that's going to be up to you. And now, I'm going to take this dome and I'm going to place it right on top of my seedlings that I just, not the seedling, right on top of this tray. And I'm going to sit it right over here. And a lot of sun, light, and a lot of light you're going to be getting to this setup. Alright, I'm going to put it right here. And that's it. That didn't take a long time, okay? It really didn't. It didn't take a long time if you go on and do it, that is. It didn't take all day. I've been on here now for an hour and 12 minutes. But I'm pretty much finished of what I'm going to be doing on the live. I'm going to let that do what it does. And if I think it needs more light, I can always turn this on. But I'm not going to put it on because you know what? I just planted those seeds. In about, they tell you how many days for it to germinate, okay? And plus it's on the inside of the house. In a south-facing window with lights, and it's under a dome. Those seeds may start popping through in about 7 days instead of 12 days. And if I put a heat mat, which I'm waiting on my heat mat to come in the mail today, and I'll put a heat mat under there. And that'll give it some more heat so the seeds can germinate. And once they germinate and they start growing real good, I'm told you're supposed to take the dome off to keep them from burning up. But even with that, I see people leaving their plants under the domes for a while. I have some plants that's really growing really nicely. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to take one of them out. I got to take it out this time. I made this setup, and it's a tight setup, but I got to take it out now, and I can't do anything but cut it. But I can always tape it back up. My thing is, I can tape it back up. It's only tape that I'm cutting through. But I need to be able to get under here. I don't want to mess it up. It took me a while to make this setup, but I just need some room to open it up. I have some domes in here. Some plants that I planted the other day. Now I finally can reach up in here and remove this setup without tearing it all to pieces. And what I'll do now, I'll just fold it back down for the other plants that's in here that's growing. Now, this is a setup that I planted the other day. All right? This will be my first time looking at these plants, okay? And I'm just going to pop this lid up off of here. It's kind of tight now. Woo! That's not as easy as I thought it would be. There it is. Woo! I just wanted to feel and see what it felt like. All right, look at the seeds germinating. Okay? Look at that. All right? I planted these on February the 9th. All right. What, 6 days, right? And they have started to come up. I have Congo watermelon. I have marigold seeds that have not broken through at all. The black magic sunflowers are jumping. And the cantaloupe. I see the honeydew melon coming up. So what I'm going to do right now is this. I think I'm going to put it back where it came from. That's the warmest environment for right now. Or I may do some switching out and some swapping out. Take the dome off. Let's do this. Let's switch something out here. I think these can make it on their own. Don't you? They can make it. It's time for them to go in other containers anyway, and something haven't even broken through. I think it's time for me to. I can put these back in. These are some tomato plants. They're looking good. But I want to do something right quick. This is the broccoli, the collards, and some peas growing right here. And it's nice and warm in there, but it's not going to kill them. I'm getting ready to do something. And I'm going to take out the peppers, the hybrid cucumber, and the okra. I'm just letting you see something what I'm getting ready to do. Peppers, okra, and the hybrid cucumbers. All right. I'm going to rest it right here. I'm going to put them back. But what I want to do now, take this pan out. Take this pan out. Set it aside. This has a dome on it, but I'm going to remove the dome. All right, let's get this pan back. Set this right here. Put it in here. There's another one that has a dome on it, okay? I wonder where it fit under here. So I'm doing like an experiment. I wonder can I get it back in here without tearing it up and spinning it around. Perfect, 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 perfect. So yes, I'm going to remove the dome off of both of them. I'm going to take this one out too. And take this out. Oh, I have some tomatoes growing. So I'm going to take the dome off of this one also. And, whew, this is something that I didn't think I was going to be doing this, but I am. And I'm going to slide this under the grow light. There's a heat mat underneath it. And they can move on and stay just like this. I'll take the dome off of this one also. Removing them from the dome covering. Got them up. Okay. And that's tomatoes. Peppers haven't started to come up. rattlesnake watermelon coming up, and sweet peppers. Take a long time to germinate. So that's just tomato plants coming up, and you see rattlesnake, watermelon, and what else? I see something else is trying to come up, but I'm getting ready to put them back under the light. And I removed the domes from these plants because they actually can fit right here directly under this light, and they need it. They need it like a baby needs milk right now. So there's a heating mat underneath it, and that's good. And I can just close this off now. It's like it's in a different environment altogether. So I'm going to leave it in there, let it get nice and warm. It usually get up to like 85 degrees or higher in this here setup. Great. Now, I can hear these plants just screaming. They're like, ah, put me back in there, put me back in there. But what I will do, I have some cucumbers. Tomatoes. I'm going to make this here really tight and slide it all the way over. I need all the room I can use here. And what I'm going to do here with the tomato plants, I'm going to put them back in there. And I want to show you something, how I'm going to do it, because it needs to have a little setup where it still can get watered. And I know this is not really what I wanted, but it'll do the job. There's enough room for this to sit there, and I can bottom water this little plastic container. But what I was really looking for, so I can show you all how important it is to keep meat trays that you have chicken in, and you may go to the deli and get some type of meat on those real small trays. Do not throw those trays away. And these are the trays that I'm talking about right here, but I was looking for a smaller one. The styrofoam trays that meat comes in, all right? And they come in all sizes. But I had a tiny one around, a real small one. I had a real small one around. I can't find it, but it would have been perfect for what I needed for. It would have slid right up in here, all right? So, but what I'm going to do, that's fine. I'm going to put the tomatoes on here, and I'm going to squeeze them together kind of tight. I'm going to separate this pepper tray right here. I'm just going to snatch it apart because it's inside of cardboard. And I know the peppers need a lot of heat. And I'm going to slide this tray right down beside the tomato plants. Two plants that really need some heat. And this is how I'm going to do it. They still can grow, got plenty of room to grow, but need heat, all right? And there we go. And I can still put water. I can bend this up out the way, or either on the side here, I can put water in it still. I can bottom water these plants still, okay, from this here little setup right here. And I'm just going to slide it inside this here growing area. Nice and careful. Slide it right there. Got plenty of heat. Got plenty of light on it. Slide it all the way to the back. And if I need to put another plant set up on the front, I have room to put it in there. But everything else can go down on the second shelf now. And that's exactly the way I'm going to do it. The ones up here, they really need this heat. And I could actually take this right here, the okra and the hybrid cucumber, still looking for that container, because it would have been perfect, and everything could have rested right there. Everything could have rested right there in that container, but I can't find it. But you all know what I'm talking about. It's just a container that you may have meat on, and it's made out of styrofoam, and you can put water in it. So since I can't find it, and this is too big to put it in there, or is it? It's too wide, I think. I just want to have this to set in something that I can water it still. But since I can't for right now, I'm going to set it right here on top of the grow mat. That's not going to hurt it. I'm just going to ease it in there under that light. Come on, baby, get in there now. Put it right there on the edge. It's still going to get enough sun. I mean, have enough light getting on it. And it has enough, the heat mat is right there underneath it. And it's still soaking wet. And it's watered real good still. And that will work. And I can close this off now. I didn't know I would be doing this part. Okay. This was not my plans. But now I can put my cucumber back. I can put all these collards, broccoli, and peas. I can actually slide them right into here now. It's a whole new setup for them, but this is where they're going to have to grow. Alright? The light is right there. It's not 2 inches above. And I'll put the okra here and the market more cucumbers. It's 4 plants in here that need to be transplanted, really. But I'll let it grow another day or two before I do that. And I'm going to bottom water it right now because they need water. I can always lower this light because this light, it can be lowered because I have wire holding it. I can lower it, but I'm doing like an experiment. So I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it exactly like that. But what I will do, I'm going to water these plants from the bottom. I'm just going to pour some water inside of this aluminum pan and let them suck up what they need, okay? That's all I'm going to do. That should be plenty. So they're going to water themselves. In about 30 minutes, I'll look in here and all that water will be gone most likely. And I'm just going to seal this back off. Seal it back off. And I'm going to get some tape because I'm not going to really mess with this here by opening it up anymore until I need to do it. So this is just to keep the heat in. Okay, it's already plastic over this here. It's already closed off. Okay? So this is to keep the heat inside. Let me pull this out, son. Hold up. Hold up. Pull this forward. Then I'll wrap this around. See, that's plastic over there. Plastic all the way around. And I can always tape it down, but right now I'm just going to leave it exactly like that. And this here turned out really great. I didn't expect to have to do it like that today, but I'm glad I did it. And there's the corn. There's sweet corn growing up here. And zinnia plants, flowers. All this is corn. Straight neck squash all the way in the windowsill, which when the sun goes down, when the sun goes down on my part of town. But anyway, the straight neck squash is going to be removed from this windowsill. And I have to remove this straight neck squash back over here. I got to move everything out the way, and I have to put a pan back over here. My pan is on the bottom shelf, and I can turn this light on in the evening time to give it some more light. So it's working out just perfect. Everything worked out just fine. And I didn't know I was going to be dealing with these domes today, but I removed them, and they worked out just fine while you all were viewing me today. So, people, where are my forever advancing yourself people? You all know how we do this thing. We do take it from level to level to level to level. I'm glad you all could join me today. And don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Click on and smash that like button. I do appreciate you all coming by. And I will see you all very soon. It's so hard to end this stream. I'm new at it. I'm the new girl on the block, but I got to walk all the way around because I can't even reach it to end the video. Woo! All right, people. Take care. Bye-bye.